The scariest VR game, and it's not even close, is Phasmophobia. Let me explain.
My God, this is scary, bro. Who plays this game in VR, by the way?
Wait, what the hell is that?
This game, when I say that Phasmophobia VR is the scariest VR game, is definitely an understatement. The eeriness in this game, it is a very eerie game. Now, I don't like the way it really ends, like when the ghost kind of gets you at the end, like the hands and stuff. I don't think that part's really scary. It's not really jumpy scary, like jump scares. There's a couple of things every once in a while, but to me, it's just the effects of the audio and like the overall. And I'm not saying this as somebody who's brand new to the game, right? If you know this channel, we covered VR for a long time. I have my Quest 3 right here. I have a Quest 3, I have a Quest 3S, I have a Quest 2, I have an OG Quest, and I also connected a PC VR, which is the only way you could actually play Phasmophobia VR. You can see some of the most popular Phasmophobia VR videos, also at least in the short format, are my videos. And so this game, when I tell you this game is scary, especially if you play on solo insanity, is just next level. I don't know any other way to explain it. The noises that you hear in VR, especially you have a great, you know, like if you're just letting the actual audio just really immerse yourself. If you go to the more the echo type stages too, right, like the asylum and all that, that's like the bigger stage. But if you're even going through the smaller stages too, I think that like it's so hard to explain, right? It depends on what you think scary is, of course. I get it. But when it comes to VR, but again, also Phasmophobia is not really just a VR game. It was made flat screen first. And also I might add Phasmophobia VR, or Phasmophobia is 10 times far more fun in VR than it is in flat screen. The thing is with VR, it's so tedious because you got to get into PC VR. It's not a standalone port. Now they have come to console. So maybe next step is trying to get to the standalone Quest and to get into the Meta store and all that. I've got to see what Meta does with all that. But we all know how Meta is with everything at this point. So Phasmophobia though, like I used to play this on solo insanity for tons of content on my VR stuff, like way back when I was shooting VR regularly. I still do love VR and I love the aspiration of it, but I really wanted to talk about this today because we were talking about this on stream and I was like, man, yo, I need to talk about this on my next YouTube video because some people still don't understand how scary this game is. The room, how you grab your items. Now, there's another thing, right? I have an old ass, like an old video that talks about tips about Phasmophobia VR, but it's not necessarily tips on how to play the game. It's more like tips before you're even, like, just to help your, like, overall, like, your mentality on the game. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people get that confused when I release that too. But you have to know the game before you actually jump into virtual reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me say that again. You have to know the game before you jump into virtual reality. Jumping into virtual reality, which is something I did stupidly, I jumped into Phasmophobia VR blind, like literally, well, figuratively. And I didn't know the map aspects. I didn't know the actual loop of the game. So like, you know how you have your checklist, you have to know what type of ghost it is, you have to get your items, you had to have, you know, you just had to have some of your smudge sticks, your lighters. Like, I didn't know any of that. Sometimes I just walk in there and just try to like play around and stuff. And so then I had to jump off after that. Then I learned how to play Phasmophobia flat screen, and then I jumped back in, and now I know exactly what to do when I'm in VR. It's the same thing for everybody else, right? When you play this game, it's a game where you have to know that this is very scary, and you will panic way more if you don't know the stage. Literally, when you just get off like your truck, whatever, like the trailer, and you are opening and you got to get the key off the garage, all that stuff, it already starts getting scary. Because it feels 10 times more different than when you're just playing like on your PC. A lot of people have fun all the time on their PC flat screen, right? And it's scary when you just play flat screen PC on your own, or even console now on your own. It's scary. If you play it in certain scenarios, it's scary. When you play, you grab your key and you go open that door, and I shit you not, man, I still get like chills to this day when you open that door to get into your actual mission, the house and everything, especially if you're playing solo. Solo insanity is crazy, man. I still get chills to this day when I talk about this. But when I open the door and you could make your own little push way in. It is so scary in there because it feels so real. Virtual reality has this thing that is still not talked about enough that really messes with your subconscious mind. And playing a game like Phasmophobia is damn close to feeling real, especially if you're somebody like me. Like, I believe in ghosts, man. So I'm just like, I believe in spiritual stuff like this. So when I see stuff like in my VR heads, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This feels real. There are some glances and some instances that just feel so real. You know, aside from like the graphics alone, you know, some graphics look outdated, of course. It's an older game. But when you are going through some of the rooms and stuff, you're like, wait, hold on. This kind of feels like my house. Playing that game is so scary, man. You can relate to it a lot. And even when you get out of your headset, it's spooky. It's a spooky game, rightfully so. And that's what I love so much about it. I think to this day, I still get excited when I talk about Phasmophobia VR. I don't have any more people to run with it that much anymore. And I've gotten a lot older since. I mean, I think I did that like 4 years ago, probably 4 years ago now, maybe. Man, it was so scary, bro. I used to stream that game too. And I was just like, no way. I don't think I can do that anymore. My heart races in that game. I don't like how much buildup it does have, right? When you aggravate like the ghosts and everything, you talk to the ghost. Talking to the ghost in VR is scary, man. When you talk to that ghost, man, on that walkie, make sure your mic's activated, like on your VR system. When you talk to that ghost, it is scary, bro. I'm just like, there's just no way. But there's another thing also that I really do appreciate about that. I appreciate all the buildup. I just don't like the climax ending, right? Like when you get, I mean, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't played Phasmophobia VR, but at the end, like the ghost kind of just covers like your face, whatever, or covers the screen. It's kind of cool in VR, but I don't know how else I would want to be offed, I guess you could say. I don't want to say those other words for YouTube's sake, but I wish there was a cooler animation or something for like the ending, like if you don't make it against the ghost. But overall, the build-up and everything, I'd give Phasmophobia VR 9 out of 10 in VR, like, because the only reason why I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because of the what was I saying right now? Oh yeah, the animation of like how the ghost like ends up ending your life basically. So yeah, but everything's cool. Like you hear items drop, you hear voices, you hear a scream at times, you hear like footsteps. Oh my god, footsteps in this game in VR, forget it, because it's, you gotta think about it, it's like as like your headset right here, and you hear it, but you're visually stunning now. The visuals are a little bit better, and it's right in front of your face. You're looking around, you hear footsteps like right here. It is insane at times. Sometimes it's not as crazy, and then when you see what do you call it, like the dots, I forgot what you call that again, man, but when you see like all the dots, it's next level for sure. It at that point, it's like, yo, because sometimes you can see it walk by and it's scary. It's so scary. You're like, oh dang, this feels real. Because sometimes I have LEDs on at my house and stuff, and like when I'm streaming or whatever, and just to see all that, it's just crazy. So Phasmophobia VR, hands down, is one of the coolest experiences, I think, of my life when I played VR. It's so sad that it's only a PC VR, and it's primarily not a VR game. So if I were to look for a game that's like primarily just VR, I wouldn't know. Is it like the Paranormal Activity game? Probably. I don't know. Or maybe like the Blair Witch one. But I'm going to count Phasmophobia as the best VR horror game, because at the end of the day, like VR is its own experience. They still have updates to this day. Again, they did just come to console, so hopefully they will ramp it up one more time. I love that game so much. If I want to get scared, or if I want to have like an uneasy feeling and an alertness, I love to play that game. But the gameplay loop is a lot harder in VR, right? The only thing you don't, I mean, you're obviously moving around when you have your quest on and stuff. You're gonna move around and stuff. It is cool picking up items and stuff though in VR. I think if you play this game regularly, that you should really give it a try in VR. It's a very, especially if you already have an audience while playing VR. Say playing just Phasmophobia flat screen. Like if you're playing this game and you're a streamer or you're a creator or you're an aspiring creator and you already got people in your stream watching you play Phasmophobia, just throw on the VR headset. It makes it 10 times more fun, way more like immersive. Although like your audience won't feel the immersion, they'll still see kind of like how you're playing flat screen anyway, but you'll get to have like way more energy and vibrancy. And that's what I used to do with my streams. I used to just have it way more like vibrant and stuff, but it is spooky. I think it's something that I could always remember as one of my favorite VR. I think it's gonna be a top VR, a horror game, at least for years to come. I don't think VR is catching up on that type of scenario anytime soon. Hence why you have to be PC VR. I do wish it was on the Quest 3 standalone though. I really, that could be on my wish list. If paranormal, if Phasmophobia VR comes to Quest 3 like standalone, oh man, I think that's gonna be legendary for sure. So fun for people that admire VR. And this channel, we do admire VR a lot. You'll know that. You can see a lot of my VR stuff on here. But yeah, y'all let me know y'all's thoughts, man. What's the scariest VR game that you played? Let me know what's up. I don't think anything can beat Phasmophobia though, hands down. Peace.